the hair care industry is huge. It's a $1 billion industry, right? Especially black women's hair. I think I read somewhere that the hair care industry, black women make up 85% of the dollars that are put into the hair care industry, right? It's huge. It's like billions of dollars, right? So for years, it's been on the side of changing your hair, like perms and relaxers and things of that nature. But now it's been a shift in the culture and in the world, really, where now people are moving away from that and going more towards natural hair, like what they have as far as, whether it be dreadlocks, whether it be afro, whether it be just curly. And, that's one of the reasons why your festival was so successful, is because, it's picked up momentum and it's in season right now. And hopefully, that lasts forever.
Yes.
But, so first and foremost, we're going to talk about the business of hair, because some people, men, a lot of times in other cultures, they may not fully understand how much money is spent on hair, the pressure of hair, the psychology of hair. It's a very important thing, right? Yeah. Hair is extremely important. Troy doesn't have any hair.
Yeah, man.
He has a beard.
We're counting that now. Yeah. For a while, I was like, "Can I attend the Curl Fest?"
Of course.
I was like, "I ain't got no hair."
So all right. So hair, psychology of hair. For even for us, we're black, but we're not women. So, as a young girl growing up, like, can you talk about the psychology of hair and how hair really plays a major part in women's lives
and self-esteem as well?
Yeah, self-esteem 100%. So. The psychology of hair, that's a big one. So I'll give you a high level idea. So for black women, hair is bigger than just hair, right? It represents skewed perceptions of beauty that we have been fed since we were 2 years old. It represents, everything that the society deems as innately black or African, as unkempt, not beautiful. All of these things, from our dark skin to our kinky hair, our nose, our texture of our hair, all of these things we have been taught that these things are not beautiful. And you guys have seen studies with the doll project back in this, I think it's the 70s, where young girls and boys that were 4 and 3 years old were given a white doll and a black doll, and every single time the black doll was deemed ugly or not pretty. And this is because it's been taught for generations, from your grandparents, combing your hair and pulling it and saying your hair is tough and is a mess, and using these words like unpretty and nappy and ugly. These things are taught until, and for generations, to your parents, to your own children, to yourself. And it isn't until you actually come to the realization on your own do you realize that you kind of absorb these type of ideals, and you may not even know.
Right.
So for hair, for black women especially, it represents a lot of pain sometimes. It represents beauty, what we consider beautiful, what men or society or the media considers beautiful with us. Right. So it's more than just hair. And I say that all the time, that Curly Girl Collective, even though it says curly, or Curl Fest is presumably about hair, it's a much larger conversation. Curl Fest, ironically, is not about hair. Curly Girl Collective is not about hair. It's about a bigger conversation about changing the ideals in society's, Western ideals of beauty.
Yeah, because systemically for years, and we're 80s babies, and we said this kind of off camera, but the image of beauty has always been a European ideal, right? It was straight hair, it was very slim. So like when you were growing up, it was Barbie dolls, and it was Sports Illustrated magazines, and none of the women looked like you. And over the past, I'd say 10 years, we've kind of seen that shift. And I think that your crew, your collective is doing an amazing job of doing that, of changing the narrative, where it's like now we see real life actors and actresses and cartoon figures that represent us. And it's changing, right? So like my daughter now grows up in a world where that black doll is now beautiful because it looks like her.
Yeah.
Whereas, for girls your age and girls who grew up in that era, it didn't exist.
Exactly.
So systemically, it was put a certain way, but you're changing that, and I think that's amazing.
Thank you. Yes, slowly changing the conversation, and we still have some ways to go.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's go into some numbers. So as I said, African American or Black women represent 85% of the beauty industry, even though we're 14% of the total population
of the United States.
Right. Yeah. So, and then also they estimate the black hair industry at $2.5 billion industry. And that's not even including wigs.
Yeah, so it's kind of undervalued because it doesn't include wigs and weaves, and you know, we have mothers and we have sisters, so we know like that's a huge part of the industry. It's expensive. Extensions, braids, all these things. The amount that it costs to put these things in your hair, right? So from a beautician standpoint, and the amount of money that is sold in those salons, like. If it's at 2.5 billion, if you add those things up, we're talking like maybe 10 to 15 billion. Absolutely. So it's a little undervalued in the sense.
Absolutely. We have a huge power in what we spend in the beauty market.
Yeah.
And it isn't until now that we're actually using the power to change the conversation of what we want to see on the aisles represented in the media, and changing the definition of what is considered beautiful. It's not until now we're seeing that we use our own power to make that shift.
Yeah, because even I was surprised by some of the numbers. So they said that relaxers are down 26%.
Right.
So people are moving away from that, right? But there's still, so India imports 6 million pounds of hair to America. Mm-hmm. China imports 1.5 million pounds of hair.
That's a lot.
To America.
That's a lot of hair.
It's a lot of hair.
So that's a lot of hair, right? Yeah. So it's really interesting because, like I said, a lot of times other coaches, they don't fully understand because it's different. Like their hair upkeep is different, right?
Yeah.
So like, what do you think the average like cost of maintaining hair, because it's expensive either way. Even if you go natural, you still got to maintain naturally, right?
Absolutely.
And then if you're not natural, then you obviously have to maintain that as well. So I've heard women say $500 a month, $600 a month, $700 a month. Like, what would you, from your friends, your personal experience, what have you seen as far as like average?
Just buying natural hair products alone or hair products alone, you could spend several $100s a month. I think that's easy. The average product is maybe between $10 and $25.
So
right, for one product.
What products are we talking about? Like, what are we buying? Is it like shampoos or conditioners? Like, what are we doing?
Shampoos, conditioners made specifically for your hair type. Mm-hmm. Curling creams, twist out creams. I can list what we call it product junkies in the natural hair world, that I could have a full closet full of natural hair products, and I get access to a lot of them, and I'm still in the beauty supply store buying products, trying to find new things that work with our hair. And part of that is because, especially for natural hair women, we're relearning how to work with our hair after years of not being able to use it or understand how to make our hair look beautiful when we walk out the door or style it. We have to change and relearn these things. So anytime a new product comes out and shows you your hair looking a different way, everybody's great runs to go get it, and it's part of that relearning process as well, which leads to us spending.
You said something very important. You said that we're the biggest consumers of hair, right? The United States and Black culture for sure, but we don't supply it though, which is kind of weird, right? Like, you would think that because we use it so much that we would actually have independent agencies and companies coming out with products to supply. Why do you think that's not happening in our community?
To supply hair or the hair products?
Both.
We do have some Black-owned hair products, and we try to promote them as much as we can. Mm-hmm. We don't have as many in the mainstream as we would like because of a number of reasons. Access to capital, to be able to produce products at the level and at the scale that you would need to get it into the big stores. However, Target and big brands are seeing the need for that, and you see the change. You'll see right at the end cap, you'll see hair products made by one person, a Black woman, like let's say Eden Body Works, for instance, made by a young Black woman when she was 16 years old in Target, or all sorts of other things. There's the Shea Moistures of the world, also made by a Black man. Richelieu Dennis, he's huge, But it started in a very humble place, right?
Independently.
Independently.
Yeah.
And you do see these things changing, and a lot more brands in the big stores, the big box stores now than you did even 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we actually researched that as well. And one of the things is that, like you said, Target, Walmart, they're all starting to incorporate natural hair products in it. And even other companies like L'Oreal and Revel. But like L'Oreal, they own Dark and Lovely. They own Carol's Daughter. They bought Carol's Daughter. And Revel, I think, Cream of Nature, they own. So that's a little discouraging on a certain level, right? Because it's like
it kind of crushes independence.
They're catering towards black women's hair from black companies, but they own those companies, so they still are in control of the marketplace. Even though, I mean, it's good that they're starting to cater towards it. They offer products,
right,
but they're still in control of the money, which is, I mean, that's where it all comes down to.